Odyssey Sims is on time. This is what Draymond Green was trying to tell you.
Caitlin Clark is on the ground again, grabbing her knee. And the broadcast just told 15 million people watching at home that the other player lost her balance. She didn't lose her balance. Anyone with 2 working eyes can watch that replay and see exactly what happened. That was not a stumble. That was not an accident. That was a defender who ran directly into Clark's lower body at full speed, wrapped up, and tried to take her legs out from under her. And the referees standing right there, watching it happen in real time, decided the smartest move was to do absolutely nothing. This is the Indiana Fever taking on the Dallas Wings. And by the time the night was over, Caitlin Clark had been shoved, grabbed, held, and knocked to the floor more times than anyone bothered to count on the stat sheet. But 2 moments in particular are the ones nobody can stop talking about this morning. First, a play where Clark ends up holding her knee in visible pain after a defender goes low into her legs in a way that has nothing to do with playing the ball. And second, a defender wrapping up Clark's arm late in the second quarter, refusing to let go. Basically,
they came after Caitlin tonight. She gets flat mugged right here.
Trying to adjust her
flat mugged. Hey, what are we doing? I mean, yikes! She couldn't get a foul call if her life depended on it. Not tonight, anyway. Not tonight. And then Odyssey Sims, I mean, for real, tackles Caitlin Clark. There's no confusion. She tackled her like it's the National Football League. And look, I like Odyssey Sims. She came through last year for the Fever. But that is
daring the officials to make a call while the clock winds down. 2 completely different moments. Same result both times. The whistle stayed in the pocket way longer than it should have. And by the time it finally came out, the damage was already done. Let's start with the knee, because this is the play that should be getting more attention than it is. Clark is working off the ball, trying to get into a passing lane. A Wings defender closes the gap on her at a speed that has no business being that close to a standing player's legs. The contact lands low, right around the knee, and Clark goes down immediately, both hands on the joint, face twisted up in a way that tells you this wasn't a dramatic sell job. You don't grab your own knee like that unless something actually hurt. The defender, meanwhile, stumbles a step
and beckons. And some intensity growing here.
How much is too much when you're guarding Caitlin Clark? First, Paige grabs her arm, the whistle comes late, Clark gets pissed, and Paige basically tells her, calm down. Then later, Odyssey Sims takes Clark down and she lands knee first on the floor. Nah man, Dallas was physical all night. Indiana loses 91-85 and Clark walks out frustrated. Call it tough defense if you want, but if this is normal, what the hell actually counts?
Up or 2 afterward and throws her arms out like she's the one who got caught off guard by the whole thing, which is exactly the kind of small, performative detail that makes the whole play look even more deliberate on a second and third viewing. Here's the problem with calling that a loss of balance. If you watch the footwork before contact, the defender isn't reacting to Clark's movement. She's closing in on it. She squares up, drops her hip angle, and drives directly into Clark's standing leg, the exact same way a defensive back tries to chop down a running back before he can.
Boston is trash. She does not set screens. You got people tackling Caitlin Clark. Leah Boston, big soft sorry ass, don't do nothing. She's a big soft sorry piece of if you ask me out there. Leah Boston is ass. $6 million of ass juice out there. She ain't did nothing. Got dominated by Jessica Shepard. Aaliyah Boston, get your sorry ass in the trash too. Go on, get your sorry ass in the trash. You suck. You the most overrated, overpaid big. For $6 million, you need to be playing like...
Think to not screen. Look at this. Like, look at it. What type? You're screening Caitlin! Oh my gosh! She's screening Caitlin instead of Odyssey. Oh my gosh! How do you screen Caitlin? Oh my gosh! She's screening her own teammate instead of screening Odyssey Sims. How do you screen Caitlin? It got to the point where she's hurting Caitlin. She's the reason Caitlin probably fell. Let me watch this. Look at this. AB didn't screen. Odyssey Sims just literally fell into Caitlin Clark. How do you
plant and cut? That's not incidental. That's not a player simply failing to stop in time. That's a body position specifically to get underneath Clark and take her down. And the fact that the broadcast crew called it losing her balance, live in real time, tells you something about how quickly people are willing to explain away contact on this particular player, instead of just calling it what it clearly is. If a defender wanted to simply contest the passing lane, there are a dozen ways to do.
Green. She's moving all over the place. Hits her with the shoulder, like always. Look at this. Fouls her, holding her, and fouls the crap out of her. No foul. Look at this. She got fouled the whole game. They didn't call this a foul. Look at this one. Like, her body's all over her. How is that not a foul? Look at this one. Cardosa swipes her once, twice, just tries to grab her. Can you imagine being fouled the entire game? Every time you hit half court, every time you dribble, every time you drive. Look at this. Sheldon clearly has her hand on Caitlin Clark's shoulder when she's shooting it. They even showed a replay.
Got called a technical foul because she accidentally ran into a ref. And as you will see from the clip, it was not intentional in the least. Her reaction to getting the whistle is just like all of us. It was so utterly unfair. Watch this.
So clearly was a foul, was not called.
Oh, she didn't even say anything.
Oh my God. I mean, just insane. And they were going to actually kick her out, and then they finally reversed that ruling. But like, this is crazy how the refs are acting.
Do that without ever getting near the knee. This wasn't one of those ways. And here's the part that should actually make people angry. Not just the play itself, but what happened after it. No whistle. Not late. Not delayed. Just nothing. Clark is on the floor, holding her knee. The trainer eventually jogs out to check on her, and the three referees standing within 10 feet of the whole thing act like.
Now what was that? Paige having the audacity to push Caitlin Clark, then putting her hand out and telling Caitlin Clark to calm down. This is just another example of how girls are getting smoked by Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. The numbers do not lie all across the board. Caitlin is not having her best night tonight, but we still have another half to go. And I will be the first to admit that I think Paige is a baller, the way that she can see the whole court, the way that she can pull up from anywhere on the court, but this was so shicey. There's always been rumors that Paige was kind of jealous of Caitlin Clark, and she admitted it herself that she was jealous for what's happening with Caitlin Clark. She said that in an interview recently, but I feel like you did not need to put your arm out like that. That is so salty. Both players are built for big moments, but that did not need to happen on the court.
They watched a completely different possession. This is a two-time MVP. The single biggest reason a huge chunk of that arena bought tickets in the first place, lying on the hardwood in visible pain. And the response from the people paid to officiate that exact situation is silence. No free throws. No flagrant review. Not even a common foul to acknowledge that contact happened at all. The game just restarts, like nothing occurred. And the only proof anyone gets afterward that something actually went wrong is Clark limping through the next several possessions. Compare that to how quickly whistles come out when Clark is the one making contact. Earlier in this very series between these two teams, Clark barely bumps into a defender setting a screen and gets an offensive foul called almost instantly. No hesitation. No discussion. No letting the play develop to see if it actually affects anything. That's the disconnect fans keep pointing out, game after game. When Clark initiates even the lightest contact, it's a foul before she's finished the motion. When something significantly more physical happens to her, the whistle suddenly needs an extended review, or it just never comes at all. It's the same three officials, working the same 40 minutes of basketball, somehow applying two entirely different standards depending on which jersey is doing the shoving. This isn't the first time this exact pattern has shown up, either. A few weeks back, Clark picked up a technical foul for making contact with an official while simply following through on a play, a body in motion, with nowhere else to go. Meanwhile, other players around the league have made similar, or rougher, contact with officials in the middle of live action and walked away with nothing more than a shrug. Fans noticed it instantly, and it fed right into the same argument that's been building all season. The standard for what counts as a foul against Clark and what counts as a foul on her seem to be two completely different rule books. And nobody in the league office has ever offered a real explanation for why that gap keeps showing up night after night.
Paige grabbing her, no foul called, grabs her again. Caitlin Clark said, yeah, dude, I mean, she's touched me enough times right now. I mean, she's gotten her hands on me a little bit too much right now. Here we go. We have Paige grabbing Caitlin Clark, literally grabbing her arm, and we're not calling a foul. I don't understand what that is. This is one of the times where Caitlin Clark got mauled. Look at this. Grabbing her arm. Like Caitlin Clark's trying to run away, and Paige Becker's just reaching out saying, no, come here. I want to go this way. Like they're both going shopping at the store. And Caitlin Clark's like, no, I'm not going in that store. And Paige's like, no, come in the store. Yeah. It was wild. Absolutely wild. Goes and grabs Caitlin Clark again. And then foul. I mean, that second time looked like she was just